This is a journey. This is a journey into sound.
We dream a world, in this case the streets of Paris, within our own mind. But in order to perceive the streets of Paris, we have to enter into our own dream. And we view our own dream from the perspective of somebody in that dreamed world. So, for ease of communication, we call the person who has fallen asleep dreaming Mary, and the character that Mary seems to become, Jane. Yeah, so Mary has fallen asleep in Buckton Hall. She's Jane on the streets of Paris. Now, is Jane an activity of Mary's mind or an entity in her own right?
An activity.
Perfect. She's an activity, and a necessary activity if Mary is to know or perceive the streets of Paris. Mary cannot fall asleep in Buckton Hall and know the streets of Paris directly. She has to know the streets of Paris via the body of Jane. And this is exactly what happens when each of us falls asleep. Have you noticed that when you fall asleep at night and you have a dream, you don't see the dreamed world directly. You always perceive the dreamed world from the perspective of somebody in the dream. Without the perspective of that subject in the dream, we wouldn't be able to experience the dreamed world. So the dreamed person, Jane, is the agency through which Mary knows the streets of Paris. Now, as an agency or as the activity of her own mind, Jane is not a problem. On the contrary, she is an agent of creativity. She is the means by which Mary brings the streets of Paris into apparent existence. It's only when Jane forgets that she is a temporary limitation of Mary's infinite mind. And she believes, I am a separate self with my own independent existence. And as such, I am fragile or vulnerable and in need. Then it becomes a problem, because everything Jane does from that moment on is either to defend herself or to try to defend herself in order to protect this fragile entity, or she tries to acquire objects, activities, substances, etc., in order to fulfill this fragile, this incomplete entity.
Guess who stepped in the room? Draped in black diamonds like a fucking monsoon. Back from the dead, but they never found my killer. So I jumped about the grave like Michael Jackson and Thriller. Iller than most MCs, cause I be killing the most MCs. Turn them to ghost MCs. Yeah, get a drum or something. As the 32 spin when that all black Hummer run face off. Nicolas Cage with a gauge. I'm famous for killing rappers. My style, grenade, cook shit like Ray. The chef Ray Kwan, the beef filet mignon without the A1. Who bark like a pit bull? You, bitch, please. I eat your favorite rapper's heart out with a 16.
A journey which along the way will bring to you new color, new dimension, new values.
Pocket juice, riding mares on the loose. King chains round my neck, haters wish it was a noose. Long made back, and I wish it was a coupe. Kush out the jar, car smelling like juke. $250,000 on the seat, yeah I know I'm a goof. Designer underwear, she knows I'm the gooch. Got the wide body, I'm a fat motherfucker. In Swahili, I'm screaming stop motherfucker. Yeah, I know you won't stop until I decide to. Until then, I'm making goldies for the homies to ride to. Spokes on the foes, folks wanna know. Bitch, I'm the boss, best folks on the blow. Keep the hat pulled low, big P on the front.
A journey which along the way will bring to you new color, new dimension, new values. And a new experience. And a new experience. And a new experience. And a new experience.
Shook hands in Brooklyn, army fatigue, bring enemies. Look, man, they wanna see me locked up, shot up. Mom's crotched up over the casket, screaming bastard, crying. No, my friends is lying. I know who killed them, filled them with them Lucas from their Rukas or their deserts. Dying ain't the shit, but it's pleasant. Kinda quiet. Watch my niggas bring the riot. Giving cats the opposite of diets. You gain 30 pounds when you die, no lie. Lazy eye, I was high when they hit me. Took a few cats with me, shit, I need the company. Apologies in order to Tiana, my daughter. If it was up to me, you would be with me. Sorta like Daddy Dearest, my vision be the clearest. Silences so you can't hear it. Competition still fear it. Shit, don't ask me, I went from ashy to nasty to classy and still.
It begins with the idea that there's a cave, and inside that cave is all the knowledge that everybody's been looking for, but somehow no one goes to that cave. There's all kinds of roads and highways and everybody going back and forth 24 hours a day, and no one finds that cave. But if you found the cave, inside the cave, there's an old woman, and she's weaving a garment, and she's been weaving it for a long time, and it's the most beautiful garment anyone has ever seen, and she's down to the hem of the garment, and she wants to weave that out of porcupine quills, and in order to weave the quills in, she has to bite down on them, and she's been biting down on quills for so long, she's worn her teeth down to the gums, but still she keeps biting down and weaving on. And every once in a while, she has to go to the back of the cave, where there's an ancient fire, and hanging over that a cauldron, and in the cauldron are the seeds of all the plants and all the trees and all the fruits and all the grains, and if she doesn't once in a while stir the cauldron, all the seeds will burn and there won't be any plants, and there won't be any grains or any flowers or any trees. And so she gets up, and because she's old and working so hard, she moves slowly back towards the cauldron, and as she goes back towards the cauldron, the black dog, what black dog? The black dog goes over to where the garment is laying, waiting for her to return, and the black dog sees a loose thread, and it pulls on the thread, and it keeps pulling until it unravels the entire garment. And the old woman comes back, and she looks at the garment of beauty, now turned into chaos, all disentangled, and for a moment she doesn't do anything. Then she sits down, and she sees a loose thread, and she picks up the thread and starts to weave, and as soon as she starts to weave, she gets an even more beautiful vision of the garment, and this is going to be an even more beautiful garment than the one before, and she's on her way weaving. So, when they tell the story, the elders say this is a story to understand what's happening now. And then someone will say, damn that black dog. If it wasn't for the black dog, she would have finished the garment and it would have been perfect. And the elders say, the word perfect means over and done. It's connected to death. Be thankful for what unravels the world, because the world unravels only to be rewoven out of threads. And then I say, we're like that old woman, looking at the chaos that the world has become. And it isn't our job to fix it all or to kind of collapse into fear and worry. It's our job to pick up a thread like she does.